Hello, this video is going to show you how to properly set up your Poetry 2020 slide deck and how to upload it to your digital portfolio. So the first thing is we need to go to Google Classroom because that's where the assignment is posted. And I'm just going to use third period as my example. So it takes me to the stream. I'm going to go to classwork and I'm going to scroll down to quarter 2. And we're talking about the Poetry 2020 assignment. You have a lot of resources here to help you. It tells you to use the Poetry 2020 slide deck setup to help you ensure that your slide deck is properly prepared. That is this handout here, Poetry 2020 slide deck setup. When you open it, it shows you what order your slide deck needs to be in. This is a step-by-step guide on how you need to have your Poetry 2020 slide deck prepared in order to upload to your digital portfolio. Your poems need to be formatted and written correctly according to their form to get the points. So remember, you wrote a haiku, a limerick, and a blues poem. Your poems have to follow the rules in order for you to get credit for uploading them to your slide. Slide number 1 in your slide deck should be a title page like you see here on the right. Slide number 2 should be the haiku subtitle page, similar to what you see labeled as number 2 here on the right. Slide number 3 should be a haiku level breakdown, similar to what you see here on slide number 3. Slide number 4 is the haiku that you wrote, and you can see that there's an example here on slide 4. Slide number 5 is a limerick subtitle page. Here on the right, you can see slide number 5 as a subtitle page. Slide number 6 is a limerick level breakdown. Over here on the right is another screenshot of slide number 6. Slide number 7, the limerick you wrote again. Here's an example here on slide number 7 on the right. Slide number 8, a blues subtitle page as seen here on slide number 8. Slide number 9, blues level breakdown as you can see here on the screenshot on the right. And lastly, your last slide, number 10, should be the blues poem that you wrote as you can see on this image here. So, Slide Deck Poetry 2020, where do you find it? This slide deck was given to you back on October 13th when you were first assigned the haiku assignment. You have to go down and view more and take it all the way back to October 13th in order to see that original post. So I'm going to scroll down here and you can see on October 13th, we did a poetry haiku assignment. And right there, you should have a Poetry 2020 slide deck. Now for you, because your Google Classroom is student view, you have to click on view assignment in order to see this template, but you were given a template. When you open it, it actually looks like this. So you had a title page that was already created for you, Poetry 2020, and then you had to put your first and last name here on the title page, just like what is here on this handout, title page. You were then told to have slides prepared for each of the poems that you were going to write. The first poem was a haiku. So if you go back to the slide deck, you should have already had slide number 4 on your slide deck, as you can see here. Then you wrote your limerick a few weeks later, maybe about a week and a half later. That limerick would show up already as slide number 7, the limerick you wrote. And then the last poem you wrote was a blues sonnet. And then once again, this is slide number 10 at the bottom, right here. So what you're being asked to do now is to incorporate all of the other slides that show up in between. You have a title page, you have the poem you wrote, and in between you have a subtitle page and a haiku or whatever poem breakdown. If you go back to the original Poetry 2020 assignment, you'll see that I provided the breakdowns for you. It tells you right here in the instructions, you will need the poetry level breakdown slide deck in order to copy and paste the breakdowns into your own Poetry 2020 slide deck, and that is provided for you right here. So how do you get slides from this slide deck moved over to this slide deck? I'm going to show you how to do that now. So using the poetry level breakdowns that I provided on the Google Classroom, the first thing you can do is take a look at where those slides are supposed to go. So you already have a title. You haven't made a subtitle page yet, but you do have the breakdowns available. So what you do is you see that slide number 3 is supposed to be the haiku level breakdown. So you go to your breakdown slides, you find the haiku, which is the first one, you copy, you click your line in between the title and the poem you wrote, and you paste it in. You don't have to link it. Then you go back to and say, okay, so I have my title page, haiku breakdown, the haiku. Now I have the limerick. And according to this, the limerick breakdown comes before the limerick that I wrote. Okay. Remember that this slide represents the poem I wrote. So I'm going to put my little yellow line between the haiku and the limerick. I'm going to go back to the poetry level breakdown. I'm going to select my slide. I'm going to copy. I'm going to click on my yellow line and paste. And now my other breakdown is there. Now I just need to get the blues breakdown. I'm going to click between my limerick and my blues poem. I'm going to go back, select the blues breakdown, copy, paste. And now my breakdowns are there. Here I've only got 7 slides, but this tells me I'm supposed to have 10. So what am I missing? Well, what I'm missing are the haiku subtitles, or not just haiku, but the poetry subtitles. So what does a subtitle page look like? Well, it kind of looks like this one over here. It just has the title of what poem you're about to learn about. So I just need to create those. I need one for the haiku, I need one for the limerick, and I need one for the blues poem. And they show up right before the breakdown. So now I know that I'm going to go in front of each breakdown. So I'm going to put my yellow line here. I'm going to click the plus sign, and I'm going to change the slide format. So I go to slide, I'm going to go to apply layout, and I'm going to select, section header, because that's the one that gives me a text box in the middle. See? And this first one is my haiku, so I'm going to write the word haiku. And now I have a subtitle. I'm going to do the same thing for my limerick. So between the haiku I wrote and the limerick breakdown, I'm going to put a yellow line. I'm going to select add a new slide, apply layout, section header, and I'm going to write limerick. I just need to do it one more time for my blues poem. So here's the limerick I wrote. Here's the blues poem breakdown. I'm going to put a line in the middle, add a new slide, apply layout, section header, blues poem. And now I have 10 slides in the proper order according to this handout, and I can check it. So the last part of what you need to do is you need to upload it to your digital portfolio. And I provided you with another slide to show you what that looks like. So when you go to your digital portfolio, you're going to put it in your freshman year page, underneath narrative writing, underneath your multicultural me assignment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Google, and I'm going to go to find my site. I go to the waffle here on the right. I click on the site's icon. Now, please remember, sometimes when you click on the site's icon, it takes you to classic sites. If you go to this page, all you need to do is click on new Google Sites, and it'll take you back to the correct page. And this is the page where you will find your Google digital portfolio. When you open your portfolio, it's going to take you right to your home page. But this upload needs to go to your freshman year page because this year you are taking freshman English. And here you'll see my titles here, and I've already uploaded my multicultural me. So now I'm going to prep my little work area here to upload Poetry 2020. I'm going to add a text box by going here on the right side, making sure Insert is selected and selecting Text Box. Now the size that I want this to be is going to be heading size. So I'm going to change it to heading, and I want it to be centered. So I'm going to use the alignment icon to center it. And this is going to be titled Poetry 2020. Now I want it to be aligned with the one I have above it. So I'm going to change the size Sometimes my computer's a little wonky about this, so I have to be really careful. I want to align it, so I got to just take it a little at a time. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Now, how do I get my Poetry 2020 uploaded here? I go back to the right side. We should still be under Insert, and I click Drive, the triangle icon. And I'm going to actually upload the one I called Final Product. Yours will have your last name on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for it. I'm going to type in Poetry 2020 Final Product. And then it will find my document for me. Here it is. I click on it. I go down to the bottom right corner, click Insert, and then it pops up. Now, like I said, you can drag and drop. I want it to be aligned with this one. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to drag it up, and I'm going to use the lines that you can see that show up to help me align it. See how I'm following the same gray lines as the Multicultural Me slide above it? I'm going to drop it. And now my poetry is uploaded. Go ahead and click Publish when you're done so that it sticks. So it shows you this is what you currently created. This is what it looked like before. See? And I'm just going to click Publish. And that's it. Good luck.